Go to wix.com/go/simple history to create a website now. Viking Myths. When we think of Norsemen or the Vikings, many myths come to mind, created from the pencils of artists, stage productions, and Hollywood movies centuries later. Let's have a look at 5 of them. They had horned helmets. The Vikings conjure up the classic image of warriors going into battle with devilish horned helmets. However, archaeologists have not found any such Viking helmets with horns so far. This image is the result of 19th century artistic license, when artists and costume designers loved the look of it, so decided to give their depiction of the Norsemen with horned helmets. Vikings smelled bad and were filthy. Poor hygiene is one of the first things that come to mind when thinking of the Vikings. However, the Vikings were a lot more hygienic than we think. Archaeological excavations have found combs, tweezers, razors, wash bowls, and ear spoons. They also made a strong soap with a high lye content that was used to bleach the hair blonde. Also, the Old Norse word for Saturday, laugardagur, roughly translates as washing day. Vikings were tall giants. From the writers of the time, you may have thought that Vikings were giants. In 921, an Arab traveler, Ibn Fadlan, came into contact with the Rus Vikings and wrote, "I have seen the Rus as they came on their merchant journeys and encamped by the Volga. I have never seen more perfect physical specimens, tall as date palms, blonde and ruddy." But archaeological evidence has found that the average height was a little shorter than today. Viking men stood around 172 centimeters tall, or 5'7", while women stood at 160 centimeters, or 5'3". But this was a little taller than the average Englishman, Frank, or Arab of the time. The axe was the most common weapon. Battle axes were one of the most common weapons used by Viking warriors, but even more common was the spear. Both were cheaper to make than a sword. But a spear required the least amount of iron. It was used for throwing or thrusting. They were called Vikings. Most of us are familiar with the term Viking. Rather than a word to describe Norsemen as it has become, Viking was used more as a verb for the activity of going on a raid. A small minority of people participating in raids were warriors, while the majority were in peaceful professions as farmers, traders, craftsmen, and merchants. This episode was sponsored by Wix. Use Wix to easily create the site that you dreamt of, regardless of your skill level. Go to wix.com/go/simple history to create a professional site today. Wix has great features to bring your site to life, such as Wix Videos, Wix Pro Gallery, Wix Bookings, and solutions for all kinds of sites, such as e-commerce, music, hotels, events, restaurants, and more. Build your own website and support the Simple History channel by going to wix.com/go/simple history.